Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor Part 94 based on novel. So let's start. These are the two powerhouses in the middle stage of the 8-star Do-Di. I don't know who will win the final victory. Mu Feng sank at the moment, and murmured while watching the two of them in the battle carefully. I'm afraid that the powerhouses in the middle stage of the 8-star Do-Di will be difficult to distinguish in a short period of time, and looking at their appearances, it seems that neither of them intends to do their best. Xiao Yi said with sharp eyes. Look, the old poisonous monster of the 10,000 poison sect seems to be at a disadvantage. Mu Yingying's lips moved slightly. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, the old poisonous monster in the battle was directly forced by Sun Dalong to defend. The poisonous old monster has been calculated. Look carefully, on the ground where the two of them are fighting. If you observe carefully, you will find some dark auras. Those dark auras are just emanating from the blood knife, but now the two are in a tense battle. In addition to the cover of the night, the poisonous old monster didn't realize this. Then Sun Dalong's big sword should be no trivial matter. Green Flute said directly. That old poisonous monster should be losing. Mu Yingying said slightly, obviously in that battle, the old poisonous monster, who had been at a disadvantage, was losing ground. 8-star Do-Di is not so easy to lose. Looking at the appearance of this old poisonous monster just now, it is obvious that he is afraid that this is the periphery of Xianling City, so he does not dare to take action against the people of the Sun family, but now he is also in a hurry. He should be. I'm going to start. Xiao Yi smiled. Really? After Mu Yingying finished speaking, she turned her attention to the battle, and the four of them did not notice Xiao Yang's disappearance. Humph. Blood swordsman, don't deceive people too much. The poisonous old monster was directly forced to retreat by Sun Dalong's blood-colored sword, and then he snorted coldly as he retreated. Ha ha ha. Wan poison religion is nothing more than that. Sun Dalong finished speaking, and with a long roar in Duyangtian, he raised the blood-colored sword in his hand with a monstrous aura, and directly attacked the old poisonous monster. Originally, I didn't plan to fight with you. After all, it's not far from Xianling City, but now, let's see how powerful our 1% sect is. The poisonous old monster also smiled strangely at the corner of his mouth. Then the body covered by the dark cloak also wriggled, as if something was about to burst out of the ground. Pretend to be a ghost. Sun Dalong also snorted coldly, but his expression was vigilant. Obviously, Sun Dalong still did not dare to underestimate this 10,000 poison sect. The source of the plague. Go. After the poisonous old monster finished speaking, the surrounding vibrated violently, and then a large group of pitch-black bugs swarmed out of his body. You actually use your own body as a medium to raise the source of the plague. This old poisonous monster is really a distraction. Seeing this, Lu Flute was surprised. It is not uncommon, but the poisonous insects raised by other poison masters are some of the same with their masters, and they will not be as bold as this poisonous old monster. The food of this plague source insect is the vindictiveness or soul power of human beings. If this is put into one's own body, if one is not careful, it will be directly swallowed up by the source of the plague. This poisonous old monster is really a daring artist. What is that? Sun Dalong heard the words, and saw a large group of dark bugs appear in front of the poison old monster, and his expression immediately became wrong. Because with his powerful perception, Sun Dalong felt a wave of death from the insects. It was a group of pitch-black insects. The whole body of the insects was pitch-black, and each one was about the size of a finger. However, the pupils in the insects were eerily emitting a green light. There are thousands of them. Go. Children, his blood, his vindictiveness, and even his soul power are all yours. Old Monster Poison also showed a very greedy face, and then his vindictiveness soared, constantly pouring into the source of the plague. Body. With the injection of this huge fighting chi, the source of the plague also suddenly glowed with an extremely violent toxin. Even from a short distance, the green flute can still vaguely feel that such a terrifying poisonous insect. If it is to deal with it by myself, I am afraid it will be extremely difficult. Sun Daolong found that the source of the plague was no trivial matter, and immediately did not dare to take it lightly. Immediately, his breath suddenly soared, and the red fighting chi instantly enveloped his figure. He only held the blood-colored sword in both hands, and a majestic fighting spirit also radiated. Yun Tianxing. Sun Daolong shouted abruptly, the blood-colored sword in his hand shone hundreds of meters of light, and then he abruptly walked towards the source of the plague, trying to destroy this plague source swarm with this attack of his own. Su. Seeing this, the poisonous old monster also burst into laughter. Because of my own plague source swarm, it is extremely laborious just to find a source of insects, not to mention the painstaking efforts to cultivate such a huge plague source swarm. The price is only the poison old monster himself. Knowledge. But what Sun Daolong didn't know was that the source of the plague was not afraid of fighting chi, on the contrary, he liked it even more. After all, the source of the plague was a poisonous insect that lived on fighting chi and soul power. So the poisonous old monster was seeing that Sun Daolong actually directly after launching such a terrifying Do Chi attack. He burst out laughing. Shabu. The source of the plague swarms flew towards Sun Daolong in a large black mass. At the same time, Sun Daolong surrounded himself with a red grudge, and then the blood-colored sword in his hand swung 100 zhong knife beams that collided with the source of the plague swarm. Boom. When the two collided, extremely terrifying fluctuations suddenly appeared, and an invisible shock wave suddenly emerged from the center of the battle. The two peaks only lasted for a breath, and the next moment, the 100 zhong sword light mixed with the destruction of the sky and the earth disappeared without a trace, and there was only a larger black figure of the source of the plague. How is that possible? Sun Daolong was also suddenly shocked, and an extremely shocked fear emerged from his pupils. How could this poisonous old monster's poisonous insect break through its own attack? His own attack has a corrosive fire attribute grudge. However, Sun Daolong also knew that the current situation was not right, so he didn't think much about it. Although he was not reconciled, he also knew that this mission had failed. Right now, this cauldron and the little girl from the poison sect could not get it. Immediately, his eyes froze. Tilda disappeared in a flash, leaving only a burst of red smoke. Ha! I didn't expect the Sun family to be so greedy for life and fear of death. The poisonous old monster also said with a distorted smile, but the expression on his face was even more painful. He, as soon as the source of the plague comes out, you must devour your vindictive energy or soul. Poison old monster, let's see how you end up. The barefooted woman who was bound by the yellow beam on the side also said with a smile. Su. The huge black plague source swarm found that it had lost its target, and immediately focused its attention on the barefoot woman. Shabu. The next moment, the source of the plague swarm greedily flew towards the barefoot woman, trying to devour the woman. But it was helpless to find that the tyranny of the yellow light beam was extremely terrifying, and it could not be broken in a short time. Immediately, the target of the source of plague swarm also turned abruptly, and then stared at the poisonous old monster. The poisonous old monster coughed violently for a few words, and then found the gaze of the source of the plague, and immediately felt a chill in his heart. Bastard! Before the poisonous old monster could speak, the huge swarm of the source of the plague was the bee pupae, and entered the poisonous old monster's body. With the influx of such a huge plague source insect swarm, the aura of the poisonous old monster has also become sluggish. Stealing chickens is not enough to lose rice. The barefooted woman also joked slightly. Cough, cough, cough. Damn bastard, he ran away at the end of the battle. The poisonous old monster sat down directly, and then the corners of his mouth were gasping for breath, and the forehead also appeared, because of the return of the huge plague sore swarm. Lots of sweat. Just now that Sun Dalong insisted on running, he would definitely not be able to catch up with him. After all, this is the outskirts of Xianling City, and the source of the plague is here, so the poisonous old monster can't get away. Furthermore, those huge plague-causing insects were returning to his body just now, directly swallowing up nearly 90% of the fighting spirit in his body. This old poisonous monster has only 10% of his fighting spirit left at this time. He is so weak. I am afraid that a 3-star fighting emperor can easily kill him. If this Sun Dalong is a little slower, I am afraid that it will be swallowed by my source of plague. If it is swallowed, I am afraid that my strength in the middle stage of the 8-star Do Emperor will be improved. It's really a pity. Old Monster Poison sat down to rest, but said with some regret in his heart. Hee, little baby, now you can hand over that thing. Although the poisonous old monster was extremely weak at this time, in order not to let the barefooted woman see that something was wrong, he could only insist on it immediately. Hey, poison old monster, you can't protect yourself now, and you still care about what's on my body. The barefooted woman laughed hilariously, and immediately did not forget to make a face at poison old monster. You? The poison old monster heard the words, and his breath was also floating. Everyone is cultivating poison fighting chi. Do you think I won't know your current state? As soon as the source of plague worms come out, you must devour vindictive energy or soul power, otherwise, these will bite you back. If the number of the source of plague worms is larger, I am afraid that you will also be directly swallowed. There will be no scum left. If I were you, I would have gone to a quiet place to recuperate by now. The barefooted woman also said slightly. Cough, cough. Stop talking nonsense. Ming people don't speak secretly. The vindictive restraint left by Sun Dalong is really not easy. Now I don't have the strength to break it, but I believe that in these time, it is enough for me to recover my strength, so this time is still a lot. The poisonous old monster said. Ha ha, isn't it? The barefooted woman's expression was also calm, and she didn't panic at all. Poison Fang, come down and take the things from this little girl, and then we have to escape immediately. Old Monster Po also sorted out the black cloak that covered his body, because under the black cloak, there was some creeping. The source of the plague, and then looked up to a certain place in the sky. Damn it. There is still a backhand left. The barefooted woman was slightly surprised, and then the green poisonous fighting chi in her body slowly emerged. Poison Fang. Seeing that there was no sound on the towering tree for a long time, the poisonous old monster immediately raised the sound by a few decibels. Feel sorry. Are you looking for him? A soft voice appeared, and at the same time, a figure covered in a pitch-black cloak appeared. The figure's left hand gently hugged the woman who had passed out with 3 flowers and eyes, while her right hand above, there is a figure casually carried. Taking a closer look, isn't the figure above the black cloak figure's right hand the fangs? Asshole! What have you done? Seeing this, the poisonous old monster's eyelids jumped violently. The strength of the black-clothed man in front of him is probably unpredictable even by the old poisonous monster, and the person who makes the old poisonous monster feel so unpredictable, his strength is probably only the powerhouse of the 9-star fighting emperor level. Your Excellency is too casual. Aren't you afraid of offending our Wanpa sect? Poison Old Monster is indeed a strong man of the older generation. Even in such a situation, he didn't panic and said. The black cloak is Xiao Yan, Xiao Yan used the package of soul power, just when Poison Old Monster and Sun Dalong were inextricably fighting, and directly attacked Poison Fang. Although this Poison Fang was a genuine 6-star Do Emperor, and Xiao Yang was only a 4-star Do Emperor, Xiao Yang, relying on his powerful soul power, was able to strike Huang Quan Qian's anger without any precautions. Ha ha, I also like this 3-flowered cauldron, so I just took it away. Xiao Yang said casually, as if he was talking about something that could not be easier. Strange, why does this person have an extremely terrifying soul power fluctuation? Could it be that he found me? The barefoot woman who was imprisoned in the yellow beam also spoke slightly, looking like she was thinking. Your Excellency, this Poison Fang is the son of our Wanpa sect. If something happens to him, Your Excellency won't be able to eat it and walk around. The old monster's eyes sank slightly. Threat me? Xiao Yang snorted coldly. Sir, I didn't mean that. This little girl is the blood of snake people and humans. If you take it back, you will inevitably be hurt by the venom on her body, so it's better to let them both go, and I will definitely compensate you. The poisonous old monster's eyes showed fierce light, then stared at Xiao Yang. Okay. Xiao Yang also said calmly. As soon as Xiao Yang finished speaking, he grabbed Poison Fang's palm and threw it directly in front of Old Monster Poisonous, and the Poison Fang was instantly thrown to the ground. Take him away, I don't want to kill people. Xiao Yang said calmly. Let's go. The poisonous old monster is also surprised why the mysterious black-clothed man said that the poisonous teeth were released. The poisonous old monster is not stupid enough to think that his reputation of the Wanpa sect will frighten him away. However, the poisonous old monster didn't have time to hesitate, his figure moved slightly, and he ignored the fangs. The strength of this mysterious man in black is unpredictable, and his own strength is only about 10%. On balance, treasure and life are more important than the latter. Thank you, Your Excellency. Poison Old Monster also said to Xiao Yang. Although he didn't know why, he always felt that this man in black seemed to have some connections with their Wanpa sect, so he let them go. The strength of people, today, the two of them, the poisonous old monster and the poisonous teeth, are probably going to be planted here. No thanks. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, looking at the poisonous old monster who was facing the fangs in front of him, he instantly laughed at the corner of his mouth, and a terrifying flame fluctuation was also hidden under his subordinates. Farewell. The poisonous old monster just came to Poison Fang, and he also carefully observed Xiao Yang's every move, and then slightly checked Poison Fang's health. Fortunately, I just passed out. After checking Fang's body, the old monster poisoned him up with his left hand, and then the only breath left in his body instantly emerged, trying to escape from here. What's the hurry? Xiao Yang said coldly. At the same time, the palm hidden in the darkness waved directly at the old monster. Huangquan palm. A loud noise came out of Xiao Yang's mouth in an instant, accompanied by the poisonous old monster, who was carefully checking the health of Poison Fang. Cough, cough. The poisonous old monster held his fangs in one hand and covered his face with the other hand. At this time, at the corner of the poisonous old monster's mouth, there was a very strange pitch-black blood slowly flowing from the corner of his mouth. The poisonous old monster has just caught the fangs and probed the body of the fangs. The fangs should have been hit hard by this mysterious man. I am afraid that he will not be able to wake up in a short time. He was also attacked by this man in black. The poisonous old monster hadn't had time to find out what was going on, and immediately spit out a mouthful of blood. Cough, cough, cough. Your Excellency is really a vicious method. The poisonous old monster coughed a few times, and then his eyes were cold and he wanted to eat Xiao Yang. Go to hell. Hearing this, Xiao Yang was a little surprised. Even though this old poisonous monster was a mid-level powerhouse of the 8-star Do Di, the fighting chi in his body is not even 1 in 10. So it stands to reason that Xiao Yan should be able to do it without any effort. Can kill it. However, the Huangquan palm that he had just received was a complete blow from his 4-star Do Emperor. Although this old poisonous monster was severely overdrawn, he still did not kill him so easily, which was enough to prove that this old poisonous monster was 8-star Do Di. The mid-term strength is not bad. As soon as Xiao Yan finished speaking, he didn't think any more, and his figure trembled strangely. Since they have already made a vengeance, there is no need to let the 2 old poisonous monsters run away. The end, the spring breeze blows again. After all, these 2 are the 10,000 poison religion in the wild land, and the poison fang status is definitely not low in the 10,000 poison religion. So there is no future trouble. Damn bastard. Worthy are you? The poisonous old monster endured the severe pain emanating from his body and cursed endlessly. Just now, because he was protecting Poison Fang, the man in black's terrifying fighting chi palm hit him directly, and the burning sensation it brought made the poisonous old monster feel uncomfortable all over his body. 7th layer breaking the sky, the first foot. Xiao Yang knew that even if the old poisonous monster's body was exhausted, the camel was bigger than a horse. So he didn't dare to take it lightly. Took off the hungry fire eternal ancient ruler behind him directly, and a huge flame of Do Chi filled out. With the appearance of this flame Do Chi mixed with as many as 23 colors, the slightly cold forest instantly burst into a scorching heat. Fire fighting chi. The poisonous old monster exclaimed, his pupils collapsed directly. The poison Do Chi cultivated by the old monster has some terrifying effects, but besides that, the poison Do Chi on his body is very afraid of flame Do Chi. In other words, when the 23 colored flames appeared on Xiao Yang's body, the old poisonous monster, who was originally calm, was violently fluctuating in his heart. How could someone have such a terrifying power of flame? If this is hit by him, I'm afraid they will have to peel off their skins if they don't die. You can't hesitate any longer. The poisonous old monster's voice just fell, and there was a serious flicker of pain, as if he had made a decision. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yang's huge eternal fire eternal ancient ruler instantly filled with devastating flame fighting energy, and the next moment, he suddenly swung towards the poison old monster. The 100 zhong penetrating flame ruler carried by Yi Huahengu ruler is like a pair of whistling scissors, trying to directly say that the 2 old and poisonous monsters are cut in 2. Humph. This feud, we have written down this feud. The poisonous old monster snorted coldly, and the next moment, the body under the cloak began to wriggle, and the source of the plague appeared. Although this plague source insect is terrifying, but now this poisonous old monster's body is exhausted, it shouldn't be able to motivate it. Xiao Yang launched a terrifying attack, and then his aura suddenly wilted. Hua Heng's ancient ruler's attack consumed a lot of Xiao Yang's vindictive energy. Let's go. The poisonous old monster shouted angrily, and then the source of the plague, as if not afraid of death, directly rushed towards Xiao Yang's 100 zhong kaimang in groups. This old poisonous monster is really reluctant. On the rock beside him, Green Flute got up slightly and said to the source of the plague that seemed to die in the sky. That is it, Xiao Yang. Mu Yingying's lips moved slightly, and she said incredulously. This Xiao Yang actually quietly approached the fangs, and with the strength of the 4-star Do Emperor consummation, he forcibly grasped the fangs in his hands, and then with the help of these fangs, he tried to kill the 2 of them in one go. Let's go, we can't be left behind. Seemingly finding Mu Yingying's surprise, Xiao Yi stood up immediately, then said to Mu Yingying, and quietly walked towards Xiao Yang's place. A few people on the side also followed after seeing this, but there is no doubt that some of the doubts that Zhu Lao had appointed Xiao Yan to take the lead in this experience also disappeared without a trace at this time. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, the terrifying flames collided fiercely with the source of the plague. Just like that Sun Dalong just fled in the desert and did not find it, everyone saw that the huge flame fighting chi directly burned the source of the plague into ashes, and then confronted the poisonous old monster emerging. It's really terrifying flame fighting chi. If it is fire attribute fighting chi, like the idiot Sun Dalong just now, the source of the plague can definitely kill it directly, but the flame on this man in black seems to be very terrifying, said the poisonous old monster. After that, I feel the fear from the heart of the plague source insects in the body. Boy, if you ruined the good thing of my Wanpa sect, you will return it sooner or later. After the poisonous old monster finished speaking, he glanced at Xiao Yang fiercely, and then he didn't stop, holding the unconscious fangs directly towards him. Run in the opposite direction. Damn it. The source of this plague is really terrifying. Xiao Yang on the side tilde, because of the girl holding the comatose furnace Ding San Huatong in her hand. She didn't plan to chase it, but the flames inside her body were burning. Emerge out, and then wipe out the source of the plague that is responsible for the end. However, Xiao Yang discovered that even if the poisonous old monster's source of plague was destroyed by his own flame-fighting chi, it was still eating away at his own flame-fighting chi. If this were replaced by the old poisonous monster in his peak period, Xiao Yang might not be able to resist the source of the plague. Is it all right? Just as Xiao Yang fell, Xiao Yi stretched out a hand to support Xiao Yang. It's all right, it's just that the powerhouse in the middle stage of the 8-star Do Di is well deserved. Even if his fighting chi is exhausted now, he can't be easily killed. Xiao Yang smiled helplessly. Mu Yingying looked at Xiao Yang, who was not injured, and seemed to hesitate. Mu Feng was the barefooted woman who was staring at the side carefully, as if she was thinking about something. This is Luding Sanhua pupils. As they got closer, Green Flute exclaimed, and then stared at the unconscious girl in Xiao Yang's hands. The fiery fluctuations in the pupils could not be concealed at all. This person seems to be a bit strong. Seeing the imprisoned barefooted woman, Xiao Yang pushed back the two old poisonous monsters with the perfection level of the 8-star Do Di, and even nearly killed them, and immediately had some thoughts in his heart. Lu Ding San Hua Tong. It's not a big deal. Mu Feng turned around and found that the green flute was very hot towards the girl in Xiao Yang's hand and said, "Ha ha, you are not from the snake race. So naturally you don't know the terrifying effect of this cauldron with 3 flower pupils. There are 3 kinds of extremely strange pupils among our snake people, and this 3-flowered pupil of the furnace and the green snake are 2 of them. The 3-flowered pupil of the blue snake ranks last. It is said that this kind of pupil can control all snake people or snake monsters for one's own use. Just imagine that you, a 4-star Do Di perfect powerhouse, suddenly summoned. There are many powerhouses of the same level, who have completed the 4-star Do Di, and it will have an overwhelming effect on the battlefield. Furthermore, there is Luding San Huatong. Luding San Huatong is known as the most respected pupil of the entire snake human race, ranking 2nd. It is rumored that the Luding San Huatong can be absorbed in time to break through the current and become a cocoon. Butterfly is not fake, but among our snake people, it is rumored that the 3-flowered pupils of the furnace can speed up the cultivation speed of the snake people, and also make the snake people evolve for it. The green flute opened his mouth slightly, but there was a difficulty under his lips. Cover up the surprise. Evolution. Xiao Yang heard the words, placed a huge soul barrier next to them, and then gently put down the unconscious girl in his hand. The comatose girl has beautiful hair that spreads out like a branch, breathing rhythmically through her nose and mouth, and her eyes are slightly closed, as if she will wake up at any time. Yes, that's right, it's evolution. Our snake people are not like your humans. You humans can cultivate all the time. Unless you fail to break through, you will die. Otherwise, our snake people will reach their limit. If you don't break through the current realm or evolve, then it is likely to be accompanied by falling. This is also the reason why many monsters want to cultivate in human form. So, we snake people don't know why, even if we cultivate to the level of fighting immortals, we can't completely rely on some things of snake-tailed snake people, and these can only be more perfect close to humans by swallowing medicinal pills or evolution. And as far as I know, according to some extremely obscure records, this cauldron with 3 flower eyes seems to have some mysterious power that can make our bloodline evolve. Green Flute's pupils were slightly fiery. Evolution. Although evolution is a good thing, it can not only change one's talent, but also improve one's blood power, which determines the height of one's cultivation. However, if the breakthrough fails, then the fate will be doomed. Xiao Yan recalled that when Medusa relied on the power of different fire to evolve into a colorful sky-devouring python on the Dochi continent, such a terrifying process was also in his heart. There is a cold, this one is careless, if it fails, the end will be extremely tragic. Hey, you don't know about this. Our snake people's cultivation picture is not the same as you. Our snake people pay great attention to the power of blood. Among them, the blood of the swallowing python is the most noble, and the swallowing python has 1 color to 9 colors. The words of Ju Cai have not appeared in thousands of years. So it's very likely that this cauldron with 3 flower pupils will give birth to a powerful man, with a 9-colored sky-swallowing python from our snake people. 9-colored swallowing python, that is an extremely terrifying existence in the battle of immortals. Green Flute is also fiery, because no matter what, Green Flute is in the final analysis of the snake people, so I saw the 3 flowers in this furnace. When it was hit me, it was inevitable to be so hot. 9-colored sky-swallowing python. Xiao Yang exclaimed. It seemed that when Kaelin was above the Dochi continent, it broke through to the level of the 9-colored sky-swallowing python in the crypt of the 9 Netherworld Nether Python clan. Could it be? Yes, that's right, the 9-colored swallowing python. Green Flute said affirmatively. 9-colored swallowing python. I didn't expect this kind of thing to actually exist. I remember my brother seems to have said that the blood of the 9-colored sky-swallowing python can reduce his strength. Mu Yingying heard the words, her beautiful eyes rolled, thinking about something. However, this 9-colored swallowing python is also a top secret among our snake people. I don't know too much. The only thing I can confirm is that this 9-colored swallowing python has extremely terrifying potential. Green Flute slightly rode. It seems that we still have to hurry up and find Kaelin Zunna and the others. Xiao Yang made up his mind. Once the matter here is understood, he will definitely find the 2 of them as soon as possible. After all, they are both his Yang Emperor Xiao Yan's wife. Didn't you say that there are 3 kinds of mysterious pupils among your snake people? What is the other one? Mu Feng stared at the Green Flute curiously. Forget it, that kind of pupil hasn't appeared for many years, so it's all right if you don't know. We'd better come out and finish the things here first, otherwise things will change later. After Green Flute finished speaking, he supported the 3-flowered the cauldron and spoke. That's right. Everyone nodded, and then slowly a group of 6 came to the barefoot woman. This yellow beam is not easy. As far as I know, this is a method specially used to imprison people. It has the same effect as a seal. Even me, it can't be broken in a short time. Mu Feng came to the barefoot woman and turned around her. A circle of openings. Be careful. Just as Mu Feng carefully observed the barefooted woman, a green light appeared on the barefooted woman's body, and the next moment it suddenly streaks towards Mu Feng. With his powerful soul power, Xiao Yan had already sensed it, and then he pulled Mu Feng over directly with a hand, and only then did he escape the mysterious attack of the barefooted woman. The reaction is very fast. The barefooted woman stretched her waist slightly and said lazily, "Ha ha, I have long felt that this Do Chi beam can't trap you, but I don't know why you haven't left yet." Xiao Yang said calmly, not at all surprised by the barefooted woman's actions. "As expected of an emperor-level soul power, although I don't know your certain soul power, but you have such a terrifying soul with only the strength of a 4-star Do D, it really surprises me." The barefooted woman opened her mouth slightly. Bang bang bang. As the barefoot woman spoke, the yellow Do Chi beam instantly shattered, and the barefoot woman was revealed. "You are also very surprising to me. You don't have any treasures on your body. I think that Fire Chidan and Joeen Demon Worm belong to another person, right? However, your Emperor-level mortal-level soul avatar didn't run away while taking advantage of the chaos just now. Tilda, are you absolutely confident, or stupid?" Xiao Yang said with a smile. "It's nothing, it's just to prove something. But you're right, those things are not on me." The barefoot woman smiled slightly. "You will be a very good opponent. I hope to meet you in the sect competition 7 years later. By the way, my name is Lin Zhu, a member of the Poison Sect." After the barefoot woman finished speaking, her body turned into a green light and disappeared instantly. Let's go to the meeting place first. I felt the mark left on me by that person, and they should be leaving." Xiao Yang finished speaking and was just about to take a few people towards a certain direction. "Sorry, I don't think I can go with you. This cauldron is of great importance. I have to send her back myself." Green Flute said solemnly. "Mu Feng, go with her," Xiao Yang said, because Xiao Yang knew the importance of this 3-flowered cauldron to the snake people, and what he said, Xiao Yang seemed to feel that the snake people were more or less the same. Less has something to do with Kaylin. "Okay, no problem," Mu Feng said cheerfully. "Thank you." Green Flute hugged the figure in her arms and said slightly bitterly. After a few people stayed for a while, they separated abruptly. Xiao Yang and Yimuing went to a team of 3 for the experience, while Mufeng Green Flute took the 3-colored eyes of the furnace and headed towards the snake people. This video will end here.